Now we're rolling.
Rolling?
Yeah.
Randy Lascivious Estes, aka Wizard, is a multi-potentialite Renaissance man who grew up in Fisher, a small farm town in east central Illinois, about 20 miles northwest of the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. If anyone has ever heard of Fisher, it's because its high school mascot is the Bunnies. Check your mom's top drawer. A major defining and life-altering event of Randy's life occurred on October 16th, 2010, when the neighbor living below him in his vintage Chicago 6 flat co-op apartment started what would become a 5-alarm fire, destroying Randy's apartment and its contents, his life's possessions. The 4.5-year-long aftermath of that fire was more hellish than the fire itself. He didn't realize he was leaving the fire trauma to replace it with an inland hurricane derecho on August 10th, 2020. In 2011, Randy moved back to Fisher for over 3.5 years to help care for his mom who had Alzheimer's. He served as an ambassador with the Illinois Alzheimer's Association, serving with others as liaisons to state and national legislative leaders in issues for persons affected by Alzheimer's and their caregivers, highlighted by lobbying our legislators in Washington, D.C. in March of 2017. Of the myriad ballsy things Randy has done, one of the ballsiest thing was selling a Chicago co-op, buying a house, and moving to the Czech Village neighborhood in 2017. Randy is convinced that he's the real-life Gentile version of George Costanza from TV Seinfeld and has myriad stories, witnesses, and former psychotic neighbors and friends to provide empirical evidence to support the validity of this assertion. Randy has told stories in the following venues in Chicago: Fear Experiment 9, Story Lab, Story Club, Do Not Submit in Evanston and Uptown, Truth or Lie, and Outspoken and Beyond Queer podcast. In Iowa, Randy has been showcased in 3 storytelling events for Family Promise of Lynn County, Becky's Family Chicken Events, Kitchen, Freudian slip.
She has chickens.
Yeah, it tastes like chicken. And with Iowa Watch on Iowa Public Radio, Teller's Bridge, and sundry open mic nights. In 2025, Iowa filmmaker Ron Reynolds created a documentary short film about Randy and his art and his cancer diagnosis entitled KFG, which stands for
Keep fucking going.
Thank you. I thought you were going to leave me hanging there. It's been submitted for acceptance to various film festivals. Here's the man of the hour.
Woo!
Summer of 2022, what was originally thought to be a spot on my lung was a large tumor on my thyroid, pushing against my trachea and growing down into my chest. An ultrasound indicated tumors on all 3 lobes. The tumors were 2.4, 2.1, and 7.9 centimeters left to right. An excruciating round of needle biopsies follows. 12 8-inch long needles jammed into my throat without the benefit of a local anesthetic. The results were suspicious in nature, but inconclusive. I named my thyroid Theobald. I meet with a surgeon to talk options. They only worry when it's over 4 centimeters. I had a qualifier at nearly 8. I'm presented with 3 options. Do nothing and get an ultrasound every 6 months to monitor growth. 2, take only the big tumor, leaving the other 2/3 of Theobald intact, with the caveat, if the big tumor was cancerous, I'd have to go back and get the remaining 2/3 of Theobald extracted. 3, remove Theobald completely. Rip the whole fucker out, I want it gone. I learned of my cancer diagnosis on Tuesday, August 1st, online, via my electronic medical record. Follicular carcinoma, encapsulated, angioinvasive, no clean margins. Sufficiently freaked, I called the surgeon, only to be told that he's out of the office for the week and the other surgeons don't treat his patients. I'm not asking for treatment. I just read carcinoma, no clean margins, with a lot of other things I don't understand. I want someone to talk me through this pathology report. I call repeatedly every day. On Friday, I finally say, I want a call from a doctor before the end of the day because I'm freaking the fuck out. 15 minutes later, a resident calls. If you know me, You know, I think the aphorism, everything happens for a reason, is the biggest piece of bullshit ever uttered or put into print. I don't know how those words are ever consoling to someone mired eyeball deep in shit. What I do believe is that it's not the shit that life doles out to you that matters. What matters is how you respond. When you can create something positive from it, that is the moment of grace. Last winter, my friend Todd from Chicago told me of a group he thought would be of interest to me, Man Up to Cancer. I researched Man Up to Cancer and joined their Facebook page. I keep seeing posts about GOW, G-O-W, Gathering of Wolves, their annual retreat, expenses paid in the Poconos, Pennsylvania. The cynic in me is reticent. 4 days with a bunch of guys I've never met, hundreds of miles away? I'm not sure. Historically, I've been in similar settings where homophobic slurs were spouted and my sense of shelter compromised. Yet, I remain intrigued and my curiosity continuously piqued. I talked with the Minnesota chapter leader. Be brutally honest with me. I'm in a much better position health-wise than many of the men's posts I'm reading. I'd feel like an imposter. He stops me cold before I can finish. No, you're not. You should go. I pull the trigger and register. Although Iowa has the second highest rates of cancer in the U.S., there was no Iowa chapter. You are looking at the leader of the newly formed Iowa chapter of Man Up to Cancer. My favorite composer and lyricist of musicals, Stephen Sondheim, tells us in Into the Woods that life is made of moments. Just like in the musical, sometimes these moments have ripple effects that reverberate and change the trajectory of one's life in small or large ways. For me, this retreat was one of those moments in the woods of eastern Pennsylvania. Much of the retreat is hard to put into words. It was so sacred and personal. But here's what I will detail. When I arrived at camp late afternoon, a number of men were already there, relaxing and socializing. From the moment my feet hit the concrete slab of patio, what radiated was pure love and the unspoken sense. You are now one of us. You belong here. You are a member of the wolf pack. Welcome, friend. I've been in many places in my life where the hatred was imminently felt in the immediate. Never before have I felt the love so freely evident. Religious institutions, take a lesson. Did I mention this retreat of men with cancer numbered over 165? There were men from the US, including Hawaii, Canada, Great Britain, and Belgium, men in their 20s to well past retirement age. Black, white, yellow, brown, gay, straight, trans, men of financial means to men with limited resources, blue collar to white collar professionals, all political persuasions. I'm projecting here because politics were never discussed. The sole common denominator is that we are men living with active cancer, in remission, or in ED, no evidence of disease. Don, a retired Canadian Mountie from Vancouver Island, was my assigned Wolfpack buddy and finds me immediately. The schedule was loose. There were optional workshops and recreational activities. Emphasis on optional. This was about men escaping cancer for a weekend. One wolf taught guitar to those who pre-registered, bringing guitars for the men who didn't own one. He surprised these men by gifting them their guitars to take home. Offerings I took advantage of: hot air balloon ride. A tattoo artist donated his services. I ran to the front of that line. Yep, I got a new tat. Zip line. I get trussed up like a Thanksgiving turkey. I climb the pole. My excitement increases with each rung I ascend. At the top of the platform is a camp staff member with an Australian accent and a body built by Nautilus. He checks to make sure I'm trussed up securely, checks my hard hat, attaches my carabiner to the line, and gives me a thumbs up. I push off screaming, "Fuck cancer!" the whole line down. God, it was exhilarating. I have it on video. My apprehensions at being at a large gathering of straight men. Never was I made to feel unwelcome or othered because I'm gay. We're members of a club we never wanted to join. The password is cancer. That's our ticket and price of admission. No other identifying aspect about any one of us mattered. And come to find out, there were a number of queer men there. Who knew? We're here. We're queer. We have cancer. Fuck cancer. Each night, there were campfire ceremonies. There was a ceremony to celebrate and mourn the men whose cancer journey transitioned in the past year. Men who took their final walk home. I never met any of these men, yet I cried. The other campfire ceremonies permitted any man to come forward and speak what was in his heart and soul. I cried again. I took a turn in front of the fire to share some thoughts. I came clean to being a stereotypical gay man who liked show tunes, sharing lyrics from a couple of songs from shows that were on a constant loop in my mind's playlist that weekend. There were no empty platitudes, no trite bon mot from people who just don't get it. There was only acknowledgement, acceptance, support, and love. Pure, unadulterated love. And compassion for someone on the same journey, different route. We all have cancer. We understand each other. Men don't have opportunities, or more truthfully, aren't permitted to be vulnerable, to let our guards down, cry, be scared, be pissed, without judgment. It makes others uncomfortable. Those actions make us weak, and we're supposed to be strong. And you know what? Cancer's fucking scary. I was in my wizard regalia throughout the weekend, and many a wolf came up to me and commented or praised me for being your authentic self. After a lifetime of pretending to be something or someone I'm not, and not just the gay thing, we all have closets, to be seen for me as I am, scars, flaws, and cancer. Seen and accepted is one of the most amazing and liberating feelings I've ever known. This wizard saw magic in the making all weekend long. Thursday afternoon, I walked onto that patio a stranger. Sunday, I left with over 165 new friends and a pack of wolves that I know have my back and I have theirs. This was the safest space in which I've ever had the fortune to be a witness or participant. I found my safe shelter. Thank you.
Yeah. Woo!
Thanks, guys, for the redo.